Hello guys and welcome to GA Flying. Today we are in Italy. It's pretty foggy, but hopefully the weather will improve. We will be flying from Venice, where we are now, to Bolzano. When it comes to Venice, this is like a payware airport that you can see here. We will do a short tour around the airport so I can show it to you. And Bolzano is also like a custom airport, but it's one that it's included with MSFS. And it's also pretty interesting because of the pretty unique and challenging approach, but we will also talk about this one. Today we'll be flying in the Bonanza Professional from Black Square. I wanted to find maybe a custom livery, and actually there are some liveries already there, despite it being like a pretty fresh plane. But I couldn't find anything that would be nicer than this totally crazy livery, mostly because of the interior. That I think you can kind of see already from here, but we will also go inside, then you will see what I mean. I would just expect that in some time we will see all possible variations of the inside and outside liveries. There will be more of a choice. But now, just because of this insight, I decided to select this one. Okay, and when it comes to the Bonanza, it was actually updated lately. The patch is not, the patch notes are not very long, but still. Let me show you what was improved. I have so many windows today. Okay, so this is pretty much all of the stuff. If you want to, you can pause it. Now you can pause it and read it. But for me, there were two interesting points here. First, you can go onto the wing, which we will obviously check out. And second thing is there was a bug with the small storm window on the side, right? It was disappearing in 2024, so now it's fixed. There are also some other small fixes, right? So those might be also important for you. Okay. Let me take a look at my grade list here. Obviously, as you can see in the thumbnail, we will be using the retro GPS, so the KLN90. And actually what I have encountered, what I have discovered is that it's even more advanced than I was thinking in the prior video. Because I was already showcasing it in my Baron video, right? So if you're interested in the very basics, it's shown in the Baron one, okay? So what was a surprise and a discovery for me was that you can actually use full sit and stars with it and approaches. And at least according to some of my testing that I have done, it was all working, right? I'm not sure if it always works, but it was working for the tours that I have done. Okay, so I did promise you first a short tour of this airport, because always with payware, some people might consider buying it and just want to take a look at the details. Okay, maybe a little bit too fast, because then YouTube will not keep up with the compressions. Let me just turn down the movement. Okay, like this one. As you can see, a lot of detail. I tried to check out where the GA planes are parking, but I only saw some of them on the photos, and I think it's here, despite it looking like the cargo terminal. Okay, so maybe it's just shared. The original part is obviously this marina here, which is not something that you can see in every airport. And we obviously are very close to Venice, which is one of the nicer looking cities in MSFS. It's already there here, but we will not go there yet. Okay, so let me just now go down, show you some of the detail. Actually, the weakest point is, I think, this texture of this one. I mean, if you come close, it looks fine, but most of the time you will be somewhere here, and then it looks a little bit basic, right? Either way, let me show you what you can expect. A pretty nice terminal, not too detailed, I guess, by today's standards, but this is also good for the performance, obviously. Okay, so this is pretty nicely optimized. There is some detail, some movement, right? Normally you will be here. So I think it's pretty fine. As I said, it's just how the texture looks like from medium distance. That is maybe not the best thing about it, but all of the rest seems pretty nice. Okay, and when we go here, I like those towers here, pretty original. Okay. So some custom hotels, a lot of detail here, a lot of clutter. As I have said, like in one of my prior videos where I was showing it, I'm really surprised by like how much detail there is and how good it looks, because actually before I was looking at it on the webpage of LIPZ that is selling it as one of like some stores, right? And the screens there were just so ugly, like it looked like, I don't know, from X-Plane 9 or something. So they really didn't pay attention to like providing high quality screens, because as you can see, all of the detail is pretty nice, right? Not like the newest airports from LIPZ and stuff, but still nice. Okay. I think we can reset our view. Oops, not this one. Here, showcase, reset position. Okay. Now it's fine. Okay, so let's go outside. Here you can see the interior I was talking about. This is just, I love it. Just so ugly. And so I guess 60s, 70s, hard to say. I just had to fly it. But actually, like, this part is like so original, it's even distracting for me when I'm looking at the gauges, right? So I would love this interior just with like black here, right? Okay, so let us go outside. Let's do this like black square walk around that they are offering. There are no visible passengers, right? Okay, but we can try here. Okay, 1 second. So I can show you how to go on the wing. So this is new, right? You can go here, and then if you click Shift-C, you're inside. So we need to get rid of this one. Then we can go out. Okay. And now we can do the test, right? Works. Okay. So here we normally have chocks, engine covers, some nice detail, and pitot heat, which might be useful. Yeah, I just love that nowadays there's like some dirt on those black square planes. Looks much better this way. Okay. So I guess with this, let's go on the wing, so it will be nice and immersive. And let's go inside. Okay, we can close the door. Open this window here so you'll hear the engine. But first, let's see how much fuel we have, because I think there's fuel saving. I'm not sure. 51 gallons. So this is fine. We need around 47 according to the flight plan, so we can keep it like this. The important part will be that part of it is in the tip tanks, right? So here we will need to remember that during the cruise, we can activate those for this fuel to go into the main tanks, right? Okay, everything is off. This is nice. So it seems like we can start. Okay, we also need to remember to switch the tanks, which is easy to forget because I'm used to doing it like in very small GA planes, and this almost feels like a medium plane already. So like I'm instinctively not thinking about this one. Okay. So battery, nice sounds, beacon, okay, full mixture, full throttle, okay, everything seems fine. So let's just prime the engine, 2, 3, okay, now throttle down, cracking the throttle a little bit, and magnetos. Okay, nice, 1000 RPM. Actually, in like those planes, I'm always mixing up the manifold pressure with the RPM because the gauge looks so similar. Always need to remember to look at this one. Okay, and let's lean the mixture so we don't get any fouling. Okay, we can turn on the alternator and the standby alternator, nav lights, and obviously avionics, because this is one of our today's topics. Let me close the window for a second. Okay, because we will be discussing this beautiful thing here. Okay. Okay, we can also put the radar on standby. This always starts with altitude, even if I'm like turning it off with off during the prior flight. So I would wish that this would be saved. Strange. Okay. Okay, it's pretty cold. So let's play around with this one. We do have the cabin heat here and the cabin ventilation. Okay, and this should work here. Okay, so let's talk about our great device here. So first, it wants the current barrow altitude, which I have written down somewhere. Let me just take a look. 1024, right? Because we are in Europe. So let's use this one. 1024 will be somewhere here. Okay, and now we can read this one. So this will be 3011, I guess. So 3011. Okay, and enter. Yes. Okay. Here you can see it has already found the present position, but if you want it to be like realistic and for it to take like the normal time that it takes, you need to go to the options. So with the large one, you are changing like the category of the site, right? I want the options. Let me just see. Are they called the options? No, it's called setup. Okay. Here, and I think it should be one of the pages. Here, barrow units. Okay. If you want to edit something on the site, you need to use the cursor, and then you can change it. And now it will be in millibars. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about how we will be like creating our flight plan. So we already have it from my prior flight. Okay. That's saying, let me see, flight plan 1. So here you can see my prior flight plans from my prior flights, right? I was flying in the United States and I was flying here. So the nice thing is that it saves your prior plans, right? And when it comes to flight plan 0, from what I could see, like from tutorials and stuff, it is working together with the map, or should be working together with the MSFS map. So if you create a route, it should work here. That's saying like detailed showcases I have only seen in 2020. So I'm not sure if there are no problems in 2024. That's saying this is exactly the flight plan that we want. So Venice and here Bolzano, right? And this is a VUR in between. But we do want all of those like SIDS, stars and stuff, right? So let me work on this one. Let me just see my cheat sheet here. So airport 7 is the SIDS and stars. So on this side, I want here to have the airport function. Okay. Here. Okay. And we are within the airport, right? So now with the small one, we will go to airport 7. Okay, and here we can see like a strange airport selected. Okay, so we can actually edit it, like always with the cursor button. And here we can click on cursor to be able to use our keyboard. This is also something that I didn't know, like super convenient. Okay, in this case, we have Venice, right? And we just want the correct SID. And here I'm often like doing a mistake because I'm never remembering what the right one is. Let me just check. So it will be Vic 6 Lima. Yeah, Vic 6 Lima. Okay, so let's go down. It's a big airport with a lot of flights. Big 6 Lima. Yeah, the last time I have chosen the wrong one, so I need to be sure, but it seems to be Big 6 Lima, okay? So like always when you are selecting something with it and clicking enter, it will ask you, oh no, this is, okay, let's start with the runway, okay? So runway 4 left, yeah, okay. And we want to load it into the flight plan, okay? And now in our flight plan, here, we can see we will start in Venice and then we will have our SID, right? Perfect, so this is exactly what we wanted. And at the very end, we do have Bolzano, right? And we have Vic 2 times. So I'm not sure if I can remove it like this. Let me just check. Clear. It, yes. Okay, perfect. Okay, and now we want the arrival to Bolzano, right? So let me go here. Okay, and we want a star, right? But we want a star for Bolzano. So this will be a B. Okay. And for this we do want ADOS 1. Okay. Let me just check. ADOS 1 X-ray. Oh no, because it has changed to... Okay, let's move back. I wanted the star. Okay, so now we have the correct one and we want ADOS 1 X-ray. Okay. Seems fine. So load into flight plan. Okay. And with this, we already have the SID, the star, but we also want the approach, right? And the approach is cheat sheet again, airport 8. Okay. So first let me use this one. I was totally in shock that it's even like a thing in this like very retro GPS, and it's obviously flying it itself, well, without VNAV, right? It has only advisory VNAV. It won't like fly down for you. Okay, so now I want airport 8 here, and the thing here is that, like, according to the manual that has 200 pages, it's only listing non-precision approaches, so no ILSs. I'm not sure if it's always a thing, but like according to the manual was suggesting that there are no precision approaches here. But I haven't tested it much. Maybe they exist, just here it doesn't work. I'm not sure. Either way, we want it on this side. And let's take the Arnov approach. It starts at the exact same point as the ILS approach in this case, so we will just change to it. Okay. So yes, I want it, and I want to load it into the flight plan. Okay, let's take a look. Okay. Okay. So it's saying us that we have some redundant waypoints here. Okay. And I think it's this last waypoint that is redundant in this case, but we will see. It will be not needed and not used by us because we will change to the localizer. Okay, but still, I think it's because Forer is here, and then at the very end, you're getting it again. And I didn't find like a way to remove it. That's saying this is already like the decision point of this approach, so it won't change anything for us. I would need to do like more testing. Either way, works and will bring us exactly where we need to go. Okay, so let me show you the navigation page, nav, and nav 5. Okay, and here also nav and nav 5. And this is like a 3D, okay, it's not 3D, okay, but it's like a view of the map, right? And we can zoom in here. And this is the SID that we'll be flying. Yeah, I'm like totally in shock that somebody has made it like as a hobby project for free, right? Amazing. and I don't really see like many people using it. I was googling from tutorials, so when it comes to MSFS YouTubers, it was like 2 people, I guess, that had like videos about it. So like for me, a great surprise and a great discovery, because I love old stuff, especially if it's so well simulated, right? Okay, a lot of talking. I hope I have not done anything stupid yet. Let me just check if I didn't forget about anything. No, it seems fine. So we do have the barrel here, the barrel here. This is fine. This is fine. Do we have like a message here? Yeah, that we should change the course to 040. And we have it also here. And this is why it's blinking. So this will not change anything when it comes to the effectiveness of how it works. It's just for the pilot, for this to have calibrated with this one, just to have like a better orientation of what is happening, right? Okay, so in our flight plan we have 15,000 feet, so let's do it. It's great to have like altitude capture and VS in an older plane, because lately I was flying a lot of GA planes that just have this like attitude selection up down, right, but with no precise vertical speed control, which makes it like very annoying to fly more complicated approaches and stuff. Okay, so we are ready to taxi. And let me just see, do we need anything else? I don't think so. We will need to remember about the oxygen, because none of those Bonanzas are pressurized, but they do have oxygen, right? Oh, I actually need to refill it. Okay, so something that I forgot after the last flights. Okay, nice. So we have attached a new bottle, okay? Let's not overcomplicate it. Okay, and with this one, we can also adjust the heading. I wish this like heading adjustment would be as nice as the one for the course, because this one feels great and it's very easy to quickly set it up. But this one is like very, very slow. Okay, we can turn it to on. Whoa, yeah, even more fog. And I was hoping for some nice views, but we will see. From what I could see in Bolzano, the views should be great again, right? Okay. Let me just get my view. Yes, it's this one. Let's do it like this so you will be able to hear the engine. I have to say the sound is like pretty original. It's not something that I would like expect from a turbocharged powerful engine, but I'm sure it's authentic, obviously. Here we can change to the second tank. Okay, and we can start. This is really confusing, right? Because they look the same, but the parking brake is actually here. It's getting very easily, very fast on the ground, this Bonanza. Let me just see. Yeah, so we want the right side. It's getting a little bit laggy, and I think it's because of the fog. Because like when I was doing the tests here, there was fog, but it wasn't like covering the whole sky, right? So this might be already too much for MSFS and for my hardware, but I think it will be fine. Okay, so for this plane, we are starting with approach flaps. Okay, so it's different than like in many twins. And the rotation speed is actually very low. It's 71, I think. I also have like a cheat sheet, but don't see it now. Okay, so this is actually real weather, but just like tuned back a little bit, so we will have some daylight. Okay, let's turn into the wind a little bit. It's very weak, right? Still. Which one? This one. Okay. I don't know. How could someone like design it like this one? Okay, either way. Let's just warm up the engine. Let's look at the temperatures. Did I click something? I'm not sure. Okay, so this is already in the green. And we are talking a lot. And now we need 1700 RPM. Okay, let's take a look. Everything is stable, nothing has popped. Okay, so now we can exercise the propeller. Let's not exercise the mixture like I have done by mistake in the Barelli video. Okay. Is it coming back? Yeah, it is. Nice. So now magnetos, and I am getting pretty high drops. I'm not sure. It's possible that during my prior flights I have fouled the spark plugs a little bit, because I think in the beginning this drop was not so big. Okay, either way, second magneto. Yeah, it's very close to the like 150 that we shouldn't cross. Seems to be almost exactly 150 in this case. Okay, so let's brief the takeoff. So we go full throttle. That's saying the last part of the throttle we have to do gently because of the wastegate, right? It needs some time to adjust, at least according to the manual. I'm not sure if this is modeled. Okay, so what do we need? I want a strobe light, a landing light, and pitot heat. Okay, this is fine. Let's check this guy. Okay, let's turn off the heating for the start. Okay, approach flaps. This is fine. Let's change it to altitude, and let's use the weather radar. If we have one, we should use it. Okay. This was a lot of talking, so let's do some flying now. Let me make sure I know where the runway is, because this is pretty convoluted here, because we also have the second runway here. And rotation at around 70, and it's really pulling ahead a lot, right? It really likes to go up, so we will need to watch out. Okay, and we will close the window so you guys don't go deaf. Okay, double check, is this in full? It is. It always looks like strange because it's not on the same level. Okay. Okay, no wind correction needed, I think. And we are already at 70. There are like very long discussions on the forums on how to trim it, so I'm still not sure. Okay, and one thing that is in the manual here is okay, let me just first take off. Okay, now it's stabilized, so now we can talk. Okay, is it enough? Yeah, and now it should follow the nav course that we have here. And let me just zoom in. So we are kind of here, we are not visible yet. We can change. Let's just a second. Okay, nav to track or to heading. Okay, and this it will be turned in the direction that we are flying, so it's easier to see. Okay, let me double check everything is fine before I keep talking. Okay, and as you can see, it's following the navigation. Okay, let me just reduce the RPM to 2500. Okay. Okay, and what it's asking me to do is pretty much changing this curse here, right? So 94. As I said, if you don't do it, nothing happens. It will just like blink on you, but it's only like for security, so you don't get like confused as a pilot, right? Okay, so let me take a look at the speeds. I actually do have also like a cheat sheet here from the manual. So best rate of climb speed is 96, so we are much over it. Okay, so I think we can even increase this one, the vertical speed, a little bit. And I have to say, I really like how it works in this black square plane, and because in the prior planes it was a little bit jumpy in some of them. And here it's kind of smooth and like feels more natural, I would say. Okay, some nice views. Okay, and we can come back to the cabin heating. So it's getting cold, which is visible here. And we will pretty much climb with full power, just finishing this sit here, right? Okay, this is fine, this is fine. Let's see if we don't drop too much speed, but this is also fine. Okay, so coming back to the trim setting, right? It just starts in the green. The green is like a very broad range where you could set a lot of stuff. So according to the discussions I have seen, like people think it should be trimmed down for most of the CGs, and this would kind of confirm what I'm feeling, that it really wants to like go up a lot, right? Especially if there is like a headwind, it pretty much jumps up. So it seems like maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea, but I couldn't find like an official confirmation that this is really the case. Okay, okay, so now 197. Here is okay. Is it? Or is it the second one? No, it's 197. Okay. Yeah, so 197 is here. This is why, because this is 18, 19, 2. So yeah, 197 should be somewhere here. Okay. Okay, I think the transition altitude is 10,000, so we are not there yet. We are dropping speed a little bit, but it's still over like the 80 knots, what was it? 96 knots, right? So we are still fine. Okay, with this you can get rid of the lights. Pitot heat stays. How cold is it? Should be fine, so no icing. Okay, works fine for now. I have like an Italian registration, but sadly it's not working in Sim Update 3. From what I know, it will be fixed in Sim Update 4, right? So for now I can just look at it in the cockpit here. Okay, are we not dropping too much? No. Okay, getting close to this one, so let's change to 2992. Okay, I still don't know if I have to also change it in the GPS, because it's doing a lot of calculations and I'm not sure what kind of altitude it's using for them, but just to have it unified, I will also change it to this standard barrow, right? 263. Okay. So, seems to be about right here. Okay. So, how to update the altitude here? I mean the barrow reference, right? Oh, this looks nice. Okay, so we just click on altitude, set it to whatever we need it. What is it? Is it 1013, right? Yeah, I think it should be this one. So 1013. Okay, and this is VNAV, so we will also talk about it. That's saying once it's set, you just click Alt again, and it's going back to your prior view. Yeah, amazing. Once we have reached our destination altitude, I will also talk about the VNAV functions, which are also pretty impressive, I would say. I mean, I feel like there are more functions than in the Garmin 530 that you see in so many planes, but I will just show you in a moment. For now, let's climb. As this is the turbocharged version, I wanted to show you the engine, right? I'm just flying too much of the burn. So, as this is turbocharged, we don't need to lean when we are climbing, right? We will lean once we are at the cruising altitude. Okay, now we can zoom out a little bit. So once again, if you want to edit something, you have to click cursor, right? Okay, looks promising. Let me see if it's not too loud for you guys. Doesn't seem like it. Yeah, the problem that I have with this one in cruise is that those power tables are all with pounds, right, of fuel used. But all of the indications here and everywhere are with gallons. So I'm not sure why this was provided like this. Let me just show you. So here, all of those tables are in pounds per hour. So it's, I mean, obviously I could calculate it, but I mean, this seems strange. I'm not a fan of it, but maybe I'm missing something, okay? Maybe it's like always my fault. Okay, panel lights, so I just saw it here. Okay, nice. Okay, let's make sure we are here, because I will need it for those calculations that I will show you in a second. Okay, so let me show you. So this is the arrival to Bolzano. It will be like a beautiful mountain valley here. Okay, and as you can see, pretty much the whole arrival is done at flight level 120. Okay, and we are at 150. So we will need to obviously descend, right? So how to calculate when we have to do it? So we go to Alt. We use this other side of it, okay, and we can see VNAV inactive. This shows us our current altitude, and we want to be at 120, okay, at a specific waypoint. Okay, so let's use the keyboard here, and we want to be at EDOSA keyboard. dosa. Okay. Okay. Oh, do I have to confirm it? Oh, just a second. Okay. Really? I was thinking... Okay, okay, let's... No. Or yes. Yes, okay. Sorry, forgot how it was working. So, I want to be, like, I don't know, 1 nautical mile before a dosa at 120, right? And the standard angle is 3 degrees. That's saying you can also calculate it, which I will show you. Okay, and we can see VNAV armed. Okay, so let me tell you how to calculate what kind of angle you will need. So there is like always a function for it. Let me just check. It's calculator 4. Okay, so here we need... I don't want this one, yeah. Here we need the cal function, and it's calculator 4. Okay, and here we have the calculations for the VNAV angle. So we will be probably going down with a glide, with a ground speed of 200 around. So let me just change it. Oops. And with around 1000 feet per minute. And it tells us that then we should use an angle like this. Obviously this will also depend on the wind, but it's more or less free. But like for more complicated calculations, this will be very handy. We can also calculate the wind that we have now. Let me just show you. So I don't want to edit it. For this one, I need calculator 3. Okay, so for this we need our true airspeed. Let me just adjust because it will blink at me. Okay. Very nice. So let's go back to our calculations. So I need the true airspeed. There is also a calculator for true airspeed, but we can use this one. So we are at 15,000 feet. Okay. Okay, so 15 is between 13 and 16, right? And the temperature is -7, I guess. Is it? Yeah, because this is 0. Yeah, -7 Celsius. Okay. So just a second. Here's 15. Here's -10. Okay, because this is 0, this is -10. So -7 will be here, and it's 15, right? So like here, I guess. This tells us that our true airspeed is 220. Okay, so let's just use, seems pretty high. Okay, and this will kind of calculate what our wind is, right, in this situation. Is it really so high? It's 15,000. Yeah, according to this one. I hope I haven't done a mistake here. Either way, let me show you where you will see this VNAV. Okay. So here we can see V is already activated, and it tells us that we will have to start to descend in 8 minutes. Okay. Here you can also see our ground speed. Everything is calculated. I mean, I do think it's more advanced than like the G1000 was for a long time. And there are many other functions, and pretty much every function that I was testing was working, which is just insane. Okay, is it too hot? Yeah, a little bit. So let me just look. Okay. Let us lean the mixture. Okay, so lean find. I think this is for rich of peak, and if you click here it will change to lean of peak. Okay, so there's a hidden button between those two, because in the real one we are just pressing both at the same time. So here we get a hidden one. Okay, so let's go lean off peak. But first one, let's reduce our manifold pressure. Okay. Let me just show you the table. I think I can find it, just a second. Okay, so we do have an index, but it starts like expanded for some reason. Okay, so we do have the turbo normalized one. Okay. And we do want 75% of power. Okay, so the power cruise. And we are kind of here. Okay, so 25 manifold pressure, 25 RPM, fuel flow is in pounds, so no idea, but this should be fine. So now we can start leaning. 25, 25, right? 25, 25. They are too similar for me. I'm not used to it. Okay, we still have 7 minutes, so let's just play around with this one. Let's wait for it. We might be too far already. Maybe not. Okay, not yet. So we can proceed then. Okay. And I think we need around 50. It's like 50 lean of peak, 50 reach of peak. But I also was reading discussions of real pilots and stuff, and like every pilot has their own approach. It was the same with the approach speed, right? I was reading a discussion of pilots, and pretty much they were using everything from like 90 to 120. But from what I could find, like the most often used approach speed is like 105 to 110. And that's saying in this case in Bolzano there's like a very steep, very special approach with special rules, so this will not be that important in our case. And we can see 5 minutes till suggested descent, because once again this is a descent that is only what's the smart English word for it? Okay, I'm sure I will remember it. It's just not doing anything, it's just providing you the information, right? Okay, and once again, 267. Yeah, so let's go. This is 27, so 267 should be somewhere here. And I mean, we are flying a SID, we are flying a star with this like super old GPS. How cool is that? Okay, I'm always paranoid when it comes to black square planes, so I'm always looking at my breakers. This seems fine. Obviously I forgot the oxygen. I was too excited about this GPS. Our passenger is suffocated probably. Or they have like the first symptoms of lack of air and are telling bad jokes. Yeah, so this all seems fine. I just love those colors. That's very brave. You can also use this one. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, as I have mentioned before, I could have... this would be like my favorite interior if not for this part, because it's just too distracting. There's just like too much going on here visually, and because of this I find it hard to concentrate on the indications. Oh, for some reason... Did I click something? Or was I not? Yeah, I was testing it many times and it was always working. I'm not sure what has happened there. Let's check it out again. So... Okay, now it has activated again, because it needs to be left on angle to be active. But it was active, so I'm not sure what has happened there. Maybe I just misclicked something. Okay, so it works. Probably a pilot error, like always. Oh, this is a nice view. I know it's like a flight where we are looking a lot at the instruments, because it's just so fascinating to me. Okay, and we can also transfer some of the fuel. Okay, in this case we are a whole notch difference, right? So we can switch it, because yeah, we can switch it. I just love that you cannot turn it off by mistake, because to turn it off you have to also click this button. Perfect. Because I mean, like in real life it's probably like difficult to do it by mistake, but in the simulator it's very easy to scroll too much, right? Yeah, nice views. Like in general, those like southern parts of the Alps that are going down like into Italy have some really beautiful valleys, and there are also those like insane plateaus on those like mountain sides. It just looks insane. We will see some of it, but like obviously not all. I might do like a VFR flight here closer to the ground, just to marvel at all of those details here. Because like today we are doing IFR day, okay, with a very interesting approach. Okay, so I can already arm the one that I will need. Okay, and I wanted 1000, and then once we are ready we will just press engage. It's so good to have like this. As I said, like especially in the Aerostar that I was flying a lot, despite I may be liking it a little bit better, like in general, the lack of like a proper vertical speed autopilot mode is really painful if you want to fly IFR. Now let me see the message. Okay, yeah, so less than 1 minute. Let me check if it's not too loud. It shouldn't be, but I will just pull it down a little bit. Okay, and I will show you something great that should appear here once we reach this. You can also zoom in a little bit, so cursor. Okay, and it started, so let's engage it. And here it, sorry, I said here, but it's here. It tells you at what height you should be now. Okay, so this is like an Airbus that shows you if you are within the expected VNAV profile, or are above or below. So this is exactly the same. Amazing. So it shows us that if we would be descending correctly, which should be at 13,500, which we are not. So to catch up, we just need to increase the vertical speed. Okay, so we are chasing the profile here. I will reduce the speed a little bit, first because we are in the yellow, which is fine if there is no turbulence, but there will be a pretty sharp turn here, and I think the maneuvering speed is not so high. Let me just get my nice sheet here. Yeah, that's okay. But I think we don't need, like, if we are so high above, right, and this is not the approach yet, I think we can be faster. That's saying, let's reduce the speed. Okay, and once we have done this curve here, this turn, I will also show you something else. Oh, and I'm flying the whole time with closed cowl flaps. I've read somewhere that they are not really using them like in the winter when it's not hot, but I'm still not sure. Like many planes, for example, need it open to have like more air during the startup of the engine. So I will need to read a little bit more. But like for sure, for the descent, like we should have it closed, especially since it's like winter almost, right? Okay, so according to the... Oh, we are already capturing this one, so not as important, I was just talking too much, right? Either way, profile. So it seems like we are already below the profile. Yeah. Now it's doing it on its own. Okay, 006. Blop, 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 blop. So here is 005, so I guess 006 is here. And we will be going into the valleys here. Yeah, I love when this happens, like in Black Square planes, and you get this light that is like illuminating all of those 3D details inside. Looks great. Either way, what I wanted to show you was our approach. Just a second. So this is our approach. This is pretty much the last waypoint, right? I mean, Forer is the last of the arrival, and then starts the approach. Okay, so there will be a deep descent, like a steep descent, and here we will see what pretty much the expected altitude is at a range from the localizer. Okay, and there is also an offset to the localizer, so it won't bring us directly to the runway. Okay. And I think like in places it's like a 7 degree descent, so also pretty steep. Either way, I want this one, 109 and 1. Okay, so here 109 and 1. Okay, and let's make sure we have enough 1 here. And this way we will have this DME. Okay, so let's take a look at our flight plan. No, flight plan 0 is the current one. So we are now going here. Just a second, just too many monitors, I need to find it. So we are going from Adosa to this one to here, right? And all of them are at the same altitude, but then suddenly there will be a very steep drop to the next waypoint that is already at 7,100. Okay, so just to anticipate it, let's just arm it. Okay, I checked the barrow and it's actually the same that we had before, so it's 1024. Okay, so once we are below 10,000 feet, we will have to use it. So here I can zoom out a little bit. Now it's on the other side, right? And as you can see, if it's minimized, then you only get the number, right? Not the full name. It's also pretty smart. It's like working with 2 screens, and there's actually tons of stuff that you can copy from one screen to the other. There is a lot of very advanced functionality. Okay, we can just increase the speed a little bit because we are getting too slow. We are also kind of descending, so let's enrich the mixture a little bit. Slowly we are getting into the area of the airport, okay, so just not to forget later. And I wanted to show you some functions that are left. So the sunrise function, pretty interesting. So let me just show you here. Calculator, and it's calculator 7. Okay, and here we need our airport. Okay. It's interesting because I think normally you have to click anywhere and then it should change to the standard cursor setting. Because normally, maybe they have changed it, I don't know. Either way, okay. Now it's on Bolzano. You need the right time zone for it. Oh god. Is it? No, it's not. CST, CDT, MST, MDT. Okay, let me just Google this one. Because it's GMT, right? For us in Europe it's called the GMT, but I'm not sure how it's called here. So Bolzano, what time zone? It's called, yes, summer time zone. Normal time zone is UTC +1. Okay? Okay, so +1, and here you can see that we'll have sunrise at 16:45. This is also awesome if you are doing longer flights and, for example, will arrive at the airport later and the approach might require you to have visuals, right? And it might be too dark already. So even details like this are modeled here. Let me just make sure we are not missing our descent. No, it's still this one. But then we will have like a steep descent. Okay. So let me just prepare this one. Just to show you again, I hope I won't miss it due to too much talking. The distance between those two is only 5 miles, right? So once we reach this one, it will be very close to the descent point. Okay, so let's do nav here. Okay, and let me show you airport here. Okay, and here you have lots of information about the airport. Okay, am I not missing it? Hopefully not. That's the message. Okay, so we will be setting barrel, but we are still above the transition altitude. Okay, here you can see all of the data, even if it's like hard or turf, right? I mean, wow. No fuel and no oxygen. I'm not sure if this is correct because nowadays it's a pretty big airport, but still, I'm just amazed. Okay, and you can see Forer is here. You should have the data here already. Yeah, that's fine. This is 10, this is 13. Okay, and we can start our descent then. And we are going into this beautiful valley here. I know, like, now it's not beautiful, but it will be if we come closer. Okay, now let me reduce the speed. We can go full mixture. Okay, let me switch just my sheet to approach. Okay, so forward is still fine. The approach starts at, what is it called? Here, this 12th one. So at this 12th one, we should be at 7,000. So let's see what the distance will be between those two. I might have been too over-eager in this case, because last time I did it too late, so now I think I did it like a little bit too early, because it was looking like we're almost at Forer. But it seems like we are like crossing it now. Yes, it's still 7 miles to go down to 7,100, and we are at 10. So I think we were still correct. Okay. And the barrow reference is 1024. Okay. So we can also change it here. Once again, here, 1024. And when we click Alt, we will go right back to the prior view. Okay, so awesome. Let me zoom in. So there's like a lot of points. I think the approach is not loaded correctly, because it seems like we would have duplicated points. So this is something that I would have to like experiment with. I'm careful here because I don't want to shock cool the cylinders, because the descent is pretty steep, right? And it's not summer anymore. Okay, so once we reach this, let me just make sure, this point with the 12 here, so this one, so in 3 miles, we will be able to catch the localizer. Just make me, I need to be sure that I have the right course, so it should be 1.6. So here it's 10, here it's 5, here it's 6. Okay. Okay, so we have the localizer here. It's 1 nautical mile. And it seems like we will maybe reach 7. Okay. So after some consideration, let me just get rid of some more of it. So in general on the charts, they are recommending to use flaps, okay? And we have approach flaps starting here. Okay, so let me change to the localizer. Is it really? Strange, I was doing it yesterday and it wasn't that much of a... Okay, so 016. Okay, so this is 01, 015, 016. So we are correct here. Either way, okay. We are in flaps range. Okay, it's moving. I was afraid we are off by a lot, but it was just a little. Okay. And we have crossed, so we can start descending. So we are looking at 4,500 here. Okay. Descend 1,500. Engage. Okay. And we have a pretty low speed. So what they were recommending in those like charts for this approach was not crossing 140, but with the flaps we can go up until 154, and it's also not in the manual. According to the manual, I think the flaps range is just this range, but according to the real pilot discussions I have seen, this is only for the landing flaps, but approach flaps go as far as the gear, so here. Not sure, but this is how much I could find. Okay, I just get this additional drag from the propeller. Okay, and now we can take a look at how accurate we are. So we are at 10, so it should be at 6,000, okay? 10 DME, we are at 10 and we are at 6,000, more or less. So we are chasing the profile still. Okay, so next check will be at 7 miles here. And at 7 miles we should be at 4,500. Might be hard to do, but we will see. We can go gear down, because we are within the range. Okay, let's see if we have 3 greens. Right, black square plane. You can be never sure. Okay, and the lowest point is... oh, they have written so much here. I think here we should be already visual with the runway. Okay, so let me just get rid of the autopilot. And we'll just follow it like this. Yeah, I think this time I was like over careful, because the last time I like barely did it. So now we do have a pretty nice like safety margin to land there. And as you can see, the runway is offset. So in reality, there are like lots and lots of vineyards here around. It's really one of the more beautiful places. Okay, so according to the forum's discussion, approach speed is from 105 to 110, and landing speed, like touchdown speed, is 80. Okay, so let's try to follow it. Let's go into the landing flaps range. I'm a little bit off, so I pretty much changed the visual, but I guess we can go back on the localizer. It's not a glide slope, right? It's only localizer information provided here. Okay, let's stay around 100. Make sure we have landing flaps. We will vacate to the right, because on the left side I think it's helicopters and military, so not for us. Yeah, now all of the detail comes in. There will be also like a nice antique, what I think is a hotel, very nice building, for a free custom airport. Okay, so let's just go back on what appears to be the glide slope here. Okay. Oh, yeah, I would say that still counts. Our tail was still in the touchdown area, so this is fine. Let's not vacate out. As I said, like left is forbidden, okay? Always getting distracted here. And on the right side you can see this old building. I was trying to like search what it is, but I couldn't find information, so not sure. Okay, let's vacate here. Flaps up. Even like parts of the interior are visible. Okay, and we have vacated, so let's just clean everything up. This one, okay. No. Okay. Here. Let me just lean it. Here, this one can go to standby. This one can be turned also to standby. What other stuff? We don't need the pitot heat. We don't need the strobe lights. We don't need the landing lights. We don't need the panel lights. This is fine. This is fine. This can stay. Okay, it wasn't so bad. Yeah, I still need to work on my graphic settings, because like as I said in one of the videos, by mistake I have wiped all of my settings and I had them really like finely crafted to give like the best visual effect with the least impact. It took me like weeks of experimenting, and then just like 2 careless clicks and I lost it all. I think I have even like ray tracing on now or something, but I'm not sure I see the difference, to be honest. Because it is a little bit laggy, and normally before those changes it wasn't really for me, like not in on such small airports like in the wild, right? I think this might be like something like a signature building, I'm not sure, but let's just vacate here and park here, because it wasn't on the sheets what this is exactly, and all of the photos that I have seen like on Google from the airport were from this like a glass terminal that you can see here. This looks, I think, like it might be, yeah, it's one of those like turnaround parking places, I think. So we turn around to vacate, but I guess we just hold here. Okay, now this one. Okay, and from what I could see, for the turbocharger, they wanted to cool down on idle for a minute before you turn it off. Okay, so I put it to idle. And let me just take the last part of the checklist. After landing is done, I think. Shut down, so we can turn the heating off. Okay, parking brake is set, avionics off, sub panel switches are those, but I want to keep the beacon light, right? Throttle closed, this closed, propeller high RPM it is, mixture cut off. Nice, there's some residual heat here. Nicely modeled, but like nobody expected anything else, right? From Black Square. Magnetos, alternators, battery master. Now beacon can go off. This is fine, this is fine, this is fine. Probably missed something like always when recording, but still. So I think we can do it like this. Parking brake and control locks. Here. Okay. Yeah, so this was the Bonanza with the KLN90. To be honest, I do really like black square planes, but I wasn't flying them that much. Maybe because when it comes to like small private GA planes, I do really like this like ownership feeling that they have like in a limited sense. That saying, I like this GPS that much that I'm really enjoying flying it a lot. And I think like, at least for a time, this will be the main selling point for black square for me, because it's like very, very unique, something that you don't find in other planes. Okay, and with this, thank you very much for this Italian flight. I hope it was fun and it was interesting. And I do recommend you to also check out this old navigation system. So thank you very much for watching, and see you in future GA flying videos. Thank you, bye-bye.